Okay, students, now we are up to the discriminant, the independent practice. So, this is a special type of number. So, if we go back to our quadratic formula, which again is in the Regents reference table, it's right there, so you don't have to memorize this. There's a special part of it. This number that is underneath the square root sign is called the discriminant. It's just b squared minus 4ac. Now what is special about this number, it tells us how many solutions this could possibly have, this equation. So negative 6x minus 5x equals 7. Well, how many does it have? Well, if I know b squared minus 4ac, I could say, if b squared minus 4ac is 0, that means the number of solutions is just 1. So if I would graph it, it would look something like this, where it would touch the line only once. If b squared minus 4ac is a positive number, well, that means that it's going to touch the x-axis 2 times. It will have 2 solutions. This looks something like that. Now finally, if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, my function will look something like this, where it has no solution. So it'll probably cross somewhere on top or on the bottom and never go across the x-axis, right? So our solutions are when it crosses the x-axis. So 1, 2, or 0. Just based on what this number, b squared minus 4ac is. Now, could you graph it? Yes, but sometimes they want to know to show your work, especially in the part 2s. And if you know it's just this simple number, we could solve it pretty easily. First thing I always look at is our function. Our function is 6x squared, x is our equation, minus 5x equals 7. Now I got to get it equal to 0 to find out what the zeros are. So I want to get this 7 and turn it into a 0, and the only way to do that is subtract 7 from both sides. So I get 6x squared minus 5x, can't combine these, minus 7 equals 0. Okay, not bad. So far it's pretty easy. Now I have my A, my B, and my C. My A is 6, my B is negative 5, and my C is negative 7. Next step, I got to put this into the discriminant. B squared, well, B is negative 5. So negative 5 squared minus 4 times A, which is 6, and then C, which is negative 7. Negative 5 squared, put it in our calculator, would get us 25. Minus this number, 4 times 6 minus times negative 7. I'm going to see what that is. Four times 6 times negative 7. Make sure you don't forget your pluses and minuses here, your positives and negatives. I'm going to hit enter. I get this number, negative 168. Now if you remember keep, change, negative minus a negative, keep, change. This turns into that, 25 plus 168. At this point, you may recognize this is definitely going to be a positive number. But let's say we don't know that. Okay, so let's say we say 25 plus 168. It's 193, a positive number. So this is a positive number, so it has to be 2 solutions. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to graph this. I already put it in for us. It says 6x squared, trying to get the light out of the way, minus 5x minus 7. Just graph it. And look at that. 2 solutions. Now what those 2 solutions are, I can't really be sure because it falls between the lines. It looks like something that's a little less than negative 1. Something that's a little bit more than negative 1, and something that's a little bit less than positive 2. If you did this here, you'd probably have a much better answer. And now that you have this, you wouldn't have to write b squared minus 4ac. You know what that is. It's 193. And we could find out the answer that way, but we're not going to do that this time. So just know that the discriminant could do this for us and make our lives a lot easier. We could figure out how many solutions. Now, sometimes you might have a wild graph that's too big to fit in your field of view, and this is where it might come into play. So if you have like large numbers and the graph would either be too wide to see or maybe too far up or too far down and you weren't sure, the discriminant works very well. Okay, so just find your A, B, C's, plug in the numbers, and you're good to go. All right, guys.